What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Inside Inter Miami, Miami Herald's show on the Inter Miami Soccer Club. I'm Andre Fernandez, your host, joined as always by Michelle Kaufman, our Inter Miami beat writer. We're back a little quicker than we thought we'd be. We signed off for the season after that disappointing finish, but we said we'd be back when noteworthy or big news happened, and obviously big news happened quick. A change in coaches. Tata Martino is out. Javier Mascherano is in. We're going to go over that a little bit. We're going to discuss the impact of that. So much to go over with that one. That's the news of the day. As of Tuesday, it's official. He is now in charge. Messi has his another former buddy from Barcelona, but this time he'll be answering to him. It'll be his coach, or at least we think he'll be answering to him in that sense. We'll see how that works out. Michelle wrote a column on it today. We'll talk about her opinion, her perspective on what she thinks this move will mean to the club. Then we'll dive back into Tata Martino's resignation, exactly why he did so. He said it was for personal reasons, but this kind of came in a little bit abrupt and unexpected. So we'll dive into that. Fourth coach that this franchise has had in 5 years. So as talented as they are, not a lot of continuity on that side of it. How does that affect the team? Huge expectations, of course, before and after with this team for as long as it stays as talented as it is. And Jorge Mas doesn't, as usual, he doesn't back down from it. He wants this to be a quote-unquote trophy-laden 2025. He's confident Messi's going to stay until the new stadium is ready. So what can we expect from that and next season? We'll talk a little more about that. But let's start with the big news of the day. There's a new front man. I don't know, even though I think we know who the front man of this franchise really is, Michelle.
Yes, we have a new coach, Javier Mascherano. Javier Mascherano is, surprise, surprise, a close friend of Lionel Messi. Surprise, surprise, a former teammate of Lionel Messi with Argentina and with Barcelona. They played 8 years together at Barcelona. They played many years together on the Argentine national team. This is another guy that Messi is bringing in. And, I wrote a column today that he is absolutely was a fantastic player, defensive midfielder, center back at times, really good defender. The team really could bolster its defense. There's no question. We've talked about it all season that they score a lot of goals. They did have some defensive lapses. So his knowledge of defense is good. He was a very good defensive minded player. However, he has no experience at all coaching a professional team. He has never coached 1 minute of a professional club. He has no experience in MLS. MLS is a completely different animal. We can go into it a little more, but I wrote in my column, like, first of all, his only experience coaching, period, is the Argentina under 20 and under 23 team for the last 3 years. And the team did not do that great. I'm going to be honest here. The U20 team, Argentina had been to 6 U20 World Cups, a record 6 U20 World Cups under Javier Mascherano. They did not qualify last year for the U20 World Cup. They lost 3 out of their 4 qualifying games. The only reason they ended up sneaking in and getting in at the end is because Indonesia was supposed to be the host country. They had some controversies in Indonesia. FIFA stepped in and said, "Oh, we're not going to have it in Indonesia. Let's have it in Argentina. Let's make Argentina the host as the defending World Cup champion. We're going to award the U20 World Cup to Argentina, and then voila, by doing so, Argentina got to get in as a host. That is how his team got in, but they lost in the quarterfinals. Then in the Paris Olympics that just happened this past summer, they lost in the quarterfinals. So Javier Mascherano as a coach has had questionable results, not great results, to be honest. He has no experience in MLS. As we know, MLS is very different from the rest of the world. A, the schedule. B, the playing surfaces are different. The climates are different. The cross-country travel. And then maybe even more important is the very restrictive salary rules, roster rules, salary structure. targeted allocated money, all these different things, TAM, GAM, all this stuff that he knows nothing about, I'm sure, because he's not been part of this league. So the learning curve is going to be huge. And what I wrote in my column is that, they basically, I mean, it's pretty clear that Messi wanted him to be the coach. And therefore, he is the coach because Messi gets what Messi wants. Messi is the most impactful player in MLS history. Messi, he drives attendance, he drives jersey sales, he drives TV, he drives everything. He even drives gambling. So he is the most impactful player in MLS history. And so the MLS executives and the team owners want him to be happy. They want Messi to be happy. They want him to be around through 2026. So guess what? If he wanted Javier Mascherano to be the coach of this team, Javier Mascherano is the coach of this team. Does that mean he's the
Yeah.
most qualified? No. Does that mean he's going to be successful? No. They're taking a gamble. Of course, you're always taking a gamble with a new coach, but it's not like there was a long, thorough search and this guy emerged as absolutely the most qualified candidate. I just don't, in my opinion, that is not the case.
No, and we've seen it in sports. The Lakers keep LeBron happy. The Mahomes is kept happy in Kansas City. You keep your star player happy, and he's the star among stars. So this isn't surprising at all. Now, is it a good move? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't sound like he has a great track record, not a lot of experience, like you said, but it's kind of like Tata was kind of the opposite. The old school coach, a little more of the, more lengthy, detail oriented, in depth. Maybe they just want to have, the player type coach, that type of thing.
Yeah, I
It'll
mean,
make them happy,
I'll
but is
tell
it going
you,
to work?
right. That's the thing. Is it going to work? I have been talking to a lot of people since Tata announced last week, completely out of the blue, that he was going to leave. It just seemed very abrupt and very strange to me that the runner-up for MLS Coach of the Year, a guy who was talking enthusiastically about next season, about coaching in the Club World Cup and this and that, it seemed strange to me, to be honest with you, that he would just step down. And so I've been talking to a lot of people, you know, that are in the know, or people who know people in the know. And, there are some whispers that maybe Messi and a couple of the other stars wanted a change, or they had a difference of opinion of what Tata should do, or so on. And maybe I do want to trust Tata when he says that he has personal matters that he wanted to attend to in Argentina, that he's going to go to Rosario, that he does not plan to coach for at least the first part of 2025 because he wants to focus on a personal matter. He's very private. He doesn't let us in on much. He's extremely cordial. He's extremely professional. In fact, he got an ovation from the media at his farewell press conference. I have been always asked the first question, and I started by saying thank you for being so respectful of the media, for answering our questions with respect, and especially as a female sports journalist, I made it a point to tell him that I really appreciate it, because there are women who cover the team, and he's extremely respectful, which I cannot say of all coaches. So, um, you know, Tata is a really upstanding guy. Even the media liked him, which is very unusual. But and I want to believe that there's something personal that he had to attend to. But if things were going great and they really wanted him and Messi really wanted him to stay, would he have left? I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know that we'll ever know, because Tata, he doesn't let us in on his private life very much. So he never talks about his private life. He's very professional in that way. So I don't know if it's a combination of he has a personal matter and decided, you know what, this is the time. They're not, we're maybe what I want to do is not exactly what they want. Maybe this is a time to part ways. I don't know. I mean, it was a friendly press conference. Jorge Mas was there. Other people from the team management were there. So it's not like he just packed up his bag and stormed out. They had a
Right.
formal press conference. He hugged Jorge Mas at the end and everything. And he said, I want to dispel rumors. I'm leaving strictly for personal reasons. But personal reasons could also be, I don't feel that I'm loved right now as much as maybe I want to be. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, there
I'm just
could
throwing
be,
this out there.
yeah, there could be a difference of opinion, but look, there's not like terrible ill will or anything like that. There's just, there's a clash of what one wants to do, what the other wants to do, and then maybe his situation is like the perfect I don't want to say excuse, but maybe like you know what I mean? Like that's like okay, this is the way to save face. It doesn't look like we're kicking you out the door. Take this opportunity, do this that you need to take care of, and boom, we'll go our separate ways respectfully and try to move in a different direction. I guess that's kind of like,
Yeah, it was very respectful. It's just that, everyone that I speak to, and it's pretty clear, it's like LeBron James. I mean, it's
yeah,
Messi's team. Let's be honest here.
of course.
Who I put in my column, I said Mascherano earned the nickname El Jefecito. He's known, his nickname is El Jefecito, the little boss. But I said, make no mistake, Messi is and will continue to be El Jefecito of this team.
The new
You know,
boss meet the old boss.
Mascherano, new boss. Mascherano may be El Jefecito, but his Jefecito is
Mm-hmm.
Lionel Messi. Okay. Leo Messi runs this team. And the owners, they have to listen to him. And Jorge Mas did not deny it. He said, as soon as he spoke to Tata, he immediately spoke to Leo and asked Leo for his input. He said, I always ask Leo for his input because it is very important that he is comfortable with the coach. It's very comfortable that he respects and trusts and is comfortable with the coach. And so he admitted, he's not denying. He spoke to Leo as soon as Tata said he's leaving, spoke to Leo. Leo told him what he wants. 3 days later, they said, Jorge Mas said that it took them 3 days to come to three finalists. And the next day, by Wednesday, they talked on Saturday. By Wednesday, they had already settled on Mascherano and offered him the job in 3 days.
Well,
A 3-day coaching search. I mean, Andre, you've covered sports a long time. 3-day coaching searches are highly unusual. It means these people have
yeah.
spoken for it. Now, Mascherano, another thing that Mas mentioned is that this is not the first time he had spoken to Mascherano. That back in 2020, I believe there was some talk about him coming here, whether it was as a player at the end of his career. I have to go back and even find if I may have alluded to it in some stories back then. But Jorge Mas said this is not the first time that we have spoken. He said something like, we almost had a deal with him in 2020. I believe it was as a player. And he said, so he has been following our club ever since. So, Jorge led us to believe that they have spoken since 2020 about maybe his interest in this
I'm
club.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure they've had his number nearby just in case for a while. And I'm
His
sure
phone
the
was on
idea
speed
of
dial.
this,
I
I'm sure
think
the
his
idea of
phone
this
number
has
was on
not
speed
been
dial.
right. But you know what? Before we forget, let's take a look at what Jorge Mas had to say about all this himself.
I spoke to Leo, to Leonel, I believe it was Saturday, which was Saturday. After he and Tata spoke, and I talked to Leo about, and I asked him, what is important to you, and what do you think is important to get the best out of our roster and out of our 11, and how do we improve? Leo shared with me his thoughts, not very dissimilar to what I alluded to earlier of, how can our young players and the veteran stars get together, play as a team, be successful. I mean, we saw magic, moments of magic this year of how our team played, where they looked unbeatable. That's what we want to capture for 34 matches and everything else that we're doing. Without a doubt, a familiarity with Leo and the other stars is an advantage in every aspect. Obviously, I want Leo to feel comfortable with the new trainer and the new coach coming in. Given those guidelines, which by the way I knew already, but I had a specific conversation with him. We went out and Raul and I spearheaded that, and we are where we are.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, Jorge talking about it right there. I mean, like you said, quick search. I'm telling you, that's probably, that subject has been broached probably multiple times over the years as a, hey, you know what? Maybe someday.
Yeah, maybe someday you can come and the truth is there's been, the talk about, the defense needs to be stronger. He's a defensive coach. Tata is an offensive coach. Tata was known for his attacking offense. He was known for scoring a lot of goals, which they did, 79 goals. But as we said, they were not among the top of the league for goals allowed. I mean, they were for goals for the most, but not for the least. You don't want to be near the top. You want to be near the bottom of goals allowed. So they could use maybe some defensive bolstering for next season, and maybe Messi and whoever suggested that Mascherano would be the way to go. That this is a guy who has coached young players. He's also actually coached as the youth coach of Argentina. He has called into his camp Facundo Farias, Fede Redondo, Gremaski, and Tomas Aviles. So he has actually had some experience with some of the young players on this team. And he's the former Barcelona teammate of Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez, Sergio Busquets, Jordi Alba. The five of them played together and won a lot of stuff together.
It's so funny how, like, I'm thinking, just as I've read this, as I hear you talking about it yet again, and all of that, let's start with this. In soccer, I feel like coaches never last, hardly ever. Like, you don't see that many, but it almost feels like he's the guy who knows a lot of the young crop of players that they're expecting to be here a while, even after Messi hangs it up, even after Suarez hangs it up. So maybe they're looking at this as, we're going to hand the keys to him for a while.
They signed him through 2027.
Right.
They,
I'm saying,
they signed him through 2027.
Right. But at the same time, this is a very interesting dynamic that he's only going to be barely older than the best players on his team at the same time.
Yeah, he's 40. He's 40, and Messi turns 38 coming up this spring. So he's his peer. He is their peer. He's their peer for the most part, although for the younger players, he is older, and they did sign him through 27. So, they do expect him to be here after Messi, unless Messi plans to play well into his 40s. He's going to be around, and Messi will be at that point upon retirement. Remember that he has equity in the team. So then the jefe,
that's going to flip again.
Then Messi is going to be, by role,
his boss
is going to be his boss, because Messi is going to become a part owner of
on the books this time.
And if Mascherano does a good enough job to still be around, at 2026, then Messi would become Mascherano's boss. So, in my opinion, it's an interesting pick. It's definitely not a safe pick. It's a gamble. It's a gamble. It's a risk, mainly just because he has no experience. He's never coached a club team, and he's never coached an MLS. And those are two really big things. I mean, even Tata, having won an MLS championship with Atlanta, having coached in World Cups, having coached in Copa America, having coached at Barcelona, even with all of that experience, he still fell short. His team still did not win MLS Cup this time, even with all that. And he did do a lot. They won Supporter Shield. They broke the all-time record for points in MLS history, No team has had a better season, regular season, than this team had this year. And, they won the Leagues Cup last year. They won the Supporter Shield this year. They had the best record. They scored 79 goals. They did all of that, but they did not win MLS Cup. So now Javier Mascherano comes in with zero experience, and he is expected to do nothing less than exceed what Tata did, not equal what Tata did.
Right.
He is going to be expected to win MLS Cup, win it. Anything less is not going to be acceptable. And number two, have a good showing in the FIFA Club World Cup this coming summer, 2025, which is, you're talking about a tournament that has teams such as Chelsea, Man City, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, and then Inter Miami. Okay, playing against those teams. And Inter Miami is opening that tournament. That tournament is opening at Hard Rock Stadium with Lionel Messi, and Inter Miami with Javier Mascherano as the coach, having never coached a club team. He's going to be in the Club World Cup, having never coached a club team. It's significant. So
sitting at the big kids table in Miami.
I wish him well. I do. And I know the fans, are going to be very interested to see what happens now. Good luck. Good luck, Jefecito. This is a tough assignment. It's a tough assignment. And he's going to have Messi in his corner. He's going to have all his little buddies from Barcelona. They all are tremendous players, but they're going to have to win MLS Cup and play well in the Club World Cup. And it's not going to be
probably
easy.
Win all these little in-season cups too. Oh yeah.
Leagues Cup, CONCACAF Champions Cup. The pressure is on. The pressure is on right now already from day one. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Again, I don't know. None of us know. This may turn out to look like this may be a genius move. But on the surface right now, I say that it's a gamble. Yeah. Do you agree? It's a gamble.
Oh, no, it's a definite gamble. I mean, do you believe, I guess, that this team is – I mean, that's the thing. Before, maybe you could have believed this team is so talented. Does it matter? But look what happened. One strategic – and really, like, it makes you wonder the strategic, direction they went in, with that left their defense so vulnerable in that playoff game. Decisions like that, little things like that. I mean, Tata had to make a lot of different decisions over the course of the year, both strategically, both lineup-wise, all kinds of things. So
a lot of adjustments.
Who knows where in their eyes, in Messi's eyes, this went sideways or was going in a direction they didn't like and led to all this.
And also, let's be honest too. They disappointed the fans in a big way. They fell very short of expectations.
Yep.
Sometimes people want a scapegoat. Maybe they don't want to look in the mirror, or maybe they just feel that maybe they really did. Maybe some people, maybe him, Messi, felt that Tata was to blame, partly to blame, largely to blame. I don't know. All I know is if that was the case, then, and he already had Mascherano on speed dial, already booking his ticket to Miami for the minute it doesn't work out with Tata. I don't know. I mean, we're not in on these conversations. All we can do is speculate. I do think that it's curious that Tata, as the runner-up MLS Coach of the Year, would all of a sudden so abruptly step down. Now, he said, because I asked him, my first question was, when did you make this decision? When did you make this decision? Because you had spoken to us so enthusiastically about next year. So when did you make this decision? And he said that he made the decision the day before the opening game of the playoffs, and that he fully intended that that's when he knew that he was not going to be back for next season, and that he intended to tell the players in the big FIFA break, he thought that they were going to win in 2. He said, I admit it, I didn't think it was going to go 3 games. I thought it was going to go 2, and then we were going to have this long FIFA break, and that's when I was going to tell the team, that this is it. that I'm just going to finish off the playoffs and then I'm not coming back. So, I want to take him on his word because he has been very honest with us. He has been very honest with us. And now, what the personal reason is, that's the question. Was the personal reason that he just felt that he had a different point of view than Messi and some of the other players? Maybe that's what the point of view is, and he knew that going into the playoffs. I don't know. Or maybe there really is something, a health issue, a family issue, a very personal issue that he didn't want to share, that he really did have to attend to. I would like to think that he's telling the truth. I would like to think that he was telling the truth. He did say, he did say the words, "It's a shame because I would have liked to have been here next year to continue with the growth of this team." So I don't know if he would have said that if they forced him out. Here's what he said.
Let's hear what he said. Yeah.
In his own words, here's what he said.
Bueno, les voy a decir algo ya que todos conocen, por cuestiones, para no bajarle un poco el tono a rumores y estas cuestiones, por cuestiones estrictamente personales, tengo que dejar Atlanta. Lo tenemos atragantado, Atlanta, estábamos hablando de Atlanta recién. Tengo que dejar Inter, no podemos volver el año próximo. Necesito estar en Rosario por cuestiones personales, vuelvo a repetir. Además está decir que hemos disfrutado mucho y agradezco la oportunidad en nombre de todo mi cuerpo técnico de poder haber trabajado en este club que demanda mucho y que tiene todavía mucho por hacer y que la verdad es que es muy atrapante porque formar parte del cambio durante este año y medio realmente nos ha puesto muy felices, lo hemos disfrutado. También las conferencias de prensa con ustedes, el respeto, el agradecimiento, ni que hablar, para Jorge, para Raúl, Xavi, toda la gente que trabajó con nosotros, Cris, Nicky en su momento, el cuerpo técnico, los jugadores, el staff, todos han hecho un trabajo maravilloso. Creo que si uno se remite al final de la temporada, nos quedamos con un sabor de boca muy amargo y nos quedamos, como dije en su momento, muy cortos con lo hecho. Pero si empezamos a ver todo el recorrido de este último año y medio y el posicionamiento que hoy tiene este Inter, no solamente por los jugadores que tiene, no solamente por la llegada de los extraordinarios jugadores que tiene, sino también porque empezamos a competir de una manera distinta. En algunos casos hemos tenido éxito, en otros casos, como dije, nos ha faltado, pero en definitiva creo que la forma de competir se ha modificado, ha sido un año y medio muy, muy gratificante para nosotros y en el análisis global probablemente estemos muy, muy contentos con lo hecho, sabiendo que había mucho más por hacer. Quiero aclarar que me hubiese gustado mucho poder seguir formando parte del crecimiento de este club, que creo que lo va a hacer sin ningún tipo de duda. Es un club que tiene mucha ambición y que por supuesto tiene muchas posibilidades de mejorar. Para esto siempre, como digo, se necesita contar con el apoyo de la liga, para que los clubes de la MLS puedan salir a disputar de una manera distinta y a competir de una manera distinta en el campo internacional. Así que, bueno, agradecido y escuchar las preguntas que tenga.
So there you have it. I mean, like you said. I mean, I'm glad he got the send off he got, and you want to hope that that's legitimately the case. But of course, people. I mean, we're being polite about it. There's people out there that are like, going to be calling BS on this and saying it's all the suspect stuff that we've been saying before. But hey, what can you do?
What can you do? Javier Mascherano is the new coach. This is the new coach. We're going to see how do they look different? What's going to be different under him? How is the player personnel going to change? Who's he going to keep? Who is he going to let go? Who might he bring in? Is it going to be a very different looking team? Is it going to be a similar team with just a few adjustments? My opinion, although nobody asked my opinion, but my opinion is this team is a really good team that did really, really well. I don't think they need a massive overhaul by any stretch.
Defensive depth.
I think they need some strength in center back.
Right.
I do think they need some strength in center back, in defense.
Right.
Other than that, I mean, they have plenty of people who can score goals. I
Right.
don't think they need more people that can score goals, even though I know there's the talk of Neymar. And yes, that would be a 32-year-old superstar to add to the collection. Yet another guy who played with Mascherano. They all played together. That would be 6 guys if he
It's
shows
the
up.
club.
6.
It's a club
It's
now.
basically time to change the shirts,
Yeah.
either to sky blue and white striped shirts or to the Barcelona maroon and navy blue striped shirts, because this is turning into a
Copyright.
a Barcelona reunion tour, Argentina reunion tour. But anyway, it's going to be interesting. And Messi gets what Messi wants. And it makes sense.
No
I mean, he
surprise.
is bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars to this league, not only to this team. Every team they play fills the stadium. So even the opponents are benefiting financially from Lionel Messi being happy and staying in this league. So even the opponents financially would have to admit that it's good for them that Messi stays in the league.
Yeah.
So they don't want to make him mad.
Yeah.
He's a walking ATM machine. I said he's a walking ATM. I said he's a walking ATM.
Yeah,
Everywhere
exactly
he goes, the cash is spilling out, and everyone is taking their withdrawals. Inter Miami takes the withdrawals. Apple, Adidas, every single opposing club that opens their stadium to full capacity because Messi is coming. It behooves everybody for Messi to be happy. And if Messi was unhappy or whatever, and he wanted to bring in Javier Mascherano, that is who they are going to bring in. And then they're going to just cross their fingers and toes and pray that this was a good decision. Time will tell.
So, time will tell. Yep. And 2025 will be here before you know it. And this team, besides some personnel changes, maybe, what else is this? Do they take the shiny new toy around the world again like they did last year? Do we have the preseason world tour again? What are you hearing on that front?
I'm hearing Jorge was asked about that, Jorge Mas, and he said, yes, we are going to showcase the team, but not in the way that we did last year, that it will be in a way that is better for the footballing side of the club. I did hear a rumor that they were going to play in Brazil, that they were going to play in Brazil one match over there. But I don't think they're going to be traipsing across 5 countries across the world. It sounds like it's going to be a much more compact tour, maybe with maybe they go to Brazil and they go to Argentina even. You know what I mean? Maybe they just do 2 South American countries and something like that. Jorge did suggest that it's not going to be as wide-ranging a tour as it was last year. So I think that's a wise decision, because we saw what happened last year. It was too much. It was just too much for all of them. It was craziness. Before the first kick of the season, they were already, they already had drama, they already had injuries, they already had controversy. It's like they don't need that coming in. They've got enough pressure. They've got a new coach. They've got Club World Cup this year. They now must win MLS Cup, Supporter Shield, whatever. I think the fans are going to be like, whatever. You want Supporter Shield last year? We want the cup. We want the cup. So there's going to be a lot of pressure. Going into 2025.
Because this franchise, up to now, built the way it is. What do we have to show for it, Michelle? The Supporter Shield. It's nice. Well, what else?
And a Leagues Cup.
That mediocre Leagues Cup that no one cares about, right?
That they held up. That's the one big
That's
trophy
it.
in the,
so,
that and the Supporter Shield.
Yeah, that trophy case is a little too empty right now compared to where they
for the money compared to $40 million roster, which is the highest roster in the league. I mean, by far. They have the most, high profile players who are making the most money, and they need to win some trophies. They need to win some trophies. Yeah.
Yes, they do. They got to get some big hardware before Messi hangs it up. So Well, like we said last week, I don't know when the next pod will be. It'll be at some point, but we had to do this one. Michelle and I had to give the fans what they wanted because, obviously some big news with this franchise, with this club right now, with the coaching change. But again, we'll be back if there's anything more going on that's
I
significant
think there's
during the
going to be
offseason.
roster stuff. Yeah,
There
I do
probably will
believe
be.
there will be roster stuff we can talk about. Actually in the next 48 hours or so, I believe every team has to announce which options it's going to exercise and which it's not. And just so you know, Jordi Alba has a contract option. Jordi Alba, Matias Rojas, Yannick Bright, Ian Frey. Luis Suarez his expired. His contract is expiring. So what are they going to do with Luis Suarez? Nico Freire, also who was injured this past year. Those are, key players that I'm assuming they want to bring back those guys. So it'll be interesting to see going forward. Who do they keep? Who do they let go? Who do they keep? Might there be some trades coming? Do they sign Neymar or not? If they want to sign him to play in the Club World Cup, it's got to be in the first half of the season. If it's in the summer window, that'll already be past the Club World Cup. So a lot of questions, especially with a new jefecito in charge, or, the two of them combined, maybe with Boosie throwing in some assistant coaching on the side because they keep saying what a great assistant coach he is. Maybe the three of them, it's going to be like a player coached team. I mean, that's what it feels like to me.
That's what I was
To me,
meaning
it
before,
feels
right?
like,
The
yeah,
player's
to me,
coach.
it feels like a player's coach, but literally a guy who was just playing with them
Right.
a few years ago is
He's
now going to
barely
be
older
the
than them.
coach. He's barely older than them, but he's going to be the coach. But I think they all maybe are thinking that they're going to sort of run this show together as a little group. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like to me.
We're gonna see.
So we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
maybe
see.
maybe we can come back with kind of a before the preseason or anything. Come with like another like sort of like an off-season review show or something down the road for you, everybody. But again, thanks for watching Inside Inter Miami all season. And again, in this episode, follow all the happenings that Michelle just talked about and more. Anything else that pops up at MiamiHerald.com. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Remember, catch us on YouTube, catch us on Apple, Spotify for just listening to us. And until then, have a great holiday season, everybody. If we don't come back before then, thanks for watching Inside
And thank
Miami.
you. Let me just say, as we head into Thanksgiving, and I know a lot of people watch and listen from around the world, but here in this country, it's Thanksgiving on Thursday. So I want to give thanks to all of you out there, wherever you are in the world. Thank you. I am truly grateful for all of you tuning in week after week. Those of you that are regulars, those of you that just tune in once in a while, thank you so much for joining us. A lot of you sharing your comments. We really do appreciate it. And thank you. Have a wonderful holiday season.
What she said, times two. See you guys next time.